Capital One just made a huge move in the points and miles world.
They added 3 new transfer partners, which makes Capital One miles even more valuable than ever. And with other credit cards raising fees, is Capital One now the new favorite for a simple, easy-to-use program?
We're breaking down exactly what this means for your travel redemptions, which programs to watch, and why now might be the perfect time to use your miles.
If you've been ignoring Capital One, this episode might change your mind completely.
Hey, I'm Chris. Welcome to the Upgraded Points Podcast.
And I'm Katie, and today we are talking all about Capital One miles. Chris and I have some travel updates to share with you, and we have a couple of reader questions. Before we get to that, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you're watching or listening. And if you have questions or comments for us, you can reach us at podcast@upgradedpoints.com. So let's start with some travel news. Chris, where did you just get back from?
Yeah, so we did a little mini staycation. We went to São Paulo. My wife went to go see the Backstreet Boys. She brought her daughter.
Nice.
But Tommy and I, they had a great time. But Tommy and I couldn't let them travel without us.
Of course
So
not.
we decided to tag along, and we went to the Westin, the brand new Westin in São Paulo, and it was really nice. Ryan did a full review on it, so we can link to that in the show notes. But this was a really nice hotel. It cost 25,000 Marriott Bonvoy points, which was really cheap.
25,000 for a Westin?
I know.
Wow.
I almost felt bad using my free night certificate there. But it's in a great location. It's in the Italian BB neighborhood. We could walk to some really great restaurants, and it was just a cool place to hang out. It's a Westin, so it was super comfortable. The heavenly beds were awesome, and they give you these can you see it here, and those little lavender things
I love those.
so nice. It was just a good experience. The rooms, I guess the only criticism the hotel's getting is that the rooms are a little small, but for 4 of us for the weekend, it was totally fine. We got free breakfast because of Marriott Platinum Elite status that came with my wife's Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant card from Amex. So it was just a really nice stay. It cost us 25,000 points and 1 certificate. We got free breakfast, and it was a good little stay.
Yeah, that sounds like a nice day. I love those Westin beds. Those are really
Everything
comfortable.
was
They're
so
heavenly,
comfy.
as they would
They
say.
are heavenly.
They are. They are.
All right.
So-
Well, catch me up on your travel updates. You got some Thailand updates for us?
I do. So for those of you who aren't familiar, I'm going to Thailand in a couple months, and it's sort of a last minute thing. So I've been working on getting all of that set up, and we are staying in Phuket for that trip. But I found business class availability coming home from Bangkok. So I decided to build in an extra night in Bangkok, because why not? I'd love to see that city too. So we have 1 night in Bangkok, and I went to Amex Fine Hotels and Resorts. Once we learned about that $300 Fine Hotels and Resorts credit, I went in, I put in Bangkok, and I sorted by the cheapest Fine Hotels and Resorts in Bangkok. And, thankfully, hotels are not super expensive, even for really nice places in Thailand. So I found the St. Regis Bangkok for $354 for a night. I booked it. I used my $300 travel credit, which I already got back, and I'll have free breakfast and a $100 food and beverage credit, plus early check-in, late check-out. Like, for 1 night, those Fine Hotels and Resorts bookings are like clutch. It is such a good deal, especially when you can find something that's not too far over $300.
Right.
So I'm really excited about that.
You're paying $50 to stay at a St. Regis with free breakfast and a $100 credit. That's crazy.
It's bananas. And there were actually a lot of really good options in the like $400 range that I could have chosen too. But it was 1 night. I'm happy with a St. Regis. Like, that's great.
So
I just
slum it.
I know. Slumming it in the St. Regis. So I'm excited about that. And I will, of course, when I get back from that trip, I'll share all about that. So I was happy about that. And then I have been booking even more. And I know that I've kind of gushed about my love for the Atmos program on this show. And I made another booking.
Oh, yeah.
So next summer, we are doing a solar eclipse cruise in the Mediterranean. and it's next August. And so the cruise will like go right under the full total solar eclipse
What?
somewhere in the Mediterranean.
That's nuts.
And we leave from Barcelona and then come home from Rome. So I found Columbus to Philadelphia to Barcelona on American Airlines, booked through Atmos for 30,000 miles for premium economy.
Nice.
Yeah,
All on one ticket.
All on one ticket, which is really like I
Clutch.
would have probably paid that just for Philadelphia to Barcelona.
Right.
But when it includes that segment, and anyone who flies from not a huge airport knows that segment often does not get attached easily and for the same price. I mean, I obviously would have loved to have flown business, but it's a relatively short flight. It is overnight, so it's not ideal, but American Airlines premium economy between the US and Europe is really comfortable. You can, you got the little footrest, you can lean back enough. I was able to find 4 tickets because my mom's coming with us. So that's another thing. It's hard to find 4 tickets in business class sometimes.
Yeah.
I was thrilled.
Summer.
Plus $5.60 in taxes. I did save because I have the Atmos Summit card. And so I was able to save $12.50 per ticket for that partner booking fee. So that card is already coming in handy. I love that card. But I thought that was a solid redemption, even though it's, not business.
Absolutely.
I think premium economy doesn't get the love it deserves. And for 30,000 miles, like, come on.
No, I don't think
I'm thrilled with that.
anyone is going to argue that is not an excellent redemption.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. I still haven't gotten the flights from Rome back to Columbus. I'm still working on that. I have alerts set up. So those will come eventually, but I was really happy with that redemption.
All right, cool. All right, well, let's dive into the main topic today, and we are going to talk about Capital One because there has been some big news for Capital One cardholders. You now have 3 brand new airline transfer partners, and why this makes Capital One miles so much more valuable than ever. If you've been sleeping on the program, now is the time to pay attention.
Yeah, and the first one, and I think probably the most exciting transfer partner that they added is Japan Airlines.
Oh, yeah.
They are, up until Capital One added Japan Airlines, Bilt was the only one-to-one transfer partner. And that tends to be a niche program, hard to earn a lot of points in unless you're renting and you're in very specific situations. But none of the major programs transfer to Japan Airlines. And so this is a big deal. Now, Capital One does not transfer at a 1-to-1. We should mention that. It is 2 to 1.5. So for every 1,000 Capital One miles you transfer, you'll get 750 Japan Airlines Mileage Bank miles. But there is a transfer bonus happening right now through October 22nd. So just about a week from the time that this show will post. You still have a little bit of time if you're listening right after we launch the show. You can get 975 Japan Airlines miles for every 1,000 Capital One miles. So almost a 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
From a major currency, that's huge. That's something to get excited about. I mean, you've flown Japan Airlines before between the US and Japan. It's nice. I mean, I've not done it, but it gets a lot of love. It
does. And what makes this extra special, I was just talking to Juan about this because he's booked this a few times, is Japan Airlines Mileage Bank members get extra access to these award seats that I have been booking or that many people have been booking through Alaska or American Airlines. It's very competitive, very hard to find, but Mileage Bank members get these in advance. So if you have Capital One miles, you now have a leg up on the competition when it comes to booking these hard to find flights.
Yeah, and I think that makes, it almost overcomes that it's not a 1-to-1 transfer. You might be spending a few extra miles, but when you have more access to that award space for maybe more tickets, because it's hard to book more than one ticket sometimes through Alaska or American, that makes that worth it, especially when it's relatively easy to earn those Capital One miles with most of the cards earning a base 2x per dollar.
Yeah.
It's a really exciting program. Japan has been on my list for a long time. I want to fly Japan Airlines. I have not done it yet. So I'm definitely going to be paying more attention to my Capital One miles now that we have this. One word of warning, if you are interested in using this transfer, There is a 7-day waiting period from the time you open a Japan Airlines Mileage Bank account to when you can transfer points in. So if you think you want to take advantage of this and you have not done so already, hit pause right now, go make a Japan Airlines Mileage Bank account, then you can come back and listen to the rest of the show. You want to get that done so you're not sitting there wanting, you don't want to do that when you see that award availability. You want to do that now, wait your week, and then you can transfer when you see that availability pop up, and it's not going to take you a week plus to get those
Great
miles.
call. Yeah. Because you don't want to see that award alert and then realize that it's too late and it'll be gone. So good call on that.
That's not a good feeling. So go do that now. But I'm really excited about this one.
All right. Well, the next transfer partner we will talk about is Qatar Airways Privilege Club. We are big fans of Avios and Qatar Airways, so this is no surprise that we are very excited about this. Transfers will happen at a 1-to-1 ratio, so 1,000 Capital One miles will become 1,000 Avios. And if you are not familiar with the program, you can move your Avios across the entire Avios ecosystem, and that includes Aer Lingus, British Airways, Finnair, Iberia, and Vueling. This means you can book across all those airlines and all the partners, including Royal Jordanian, Cathay Pacific, Alaska, and JetBlue. So this is just huge, great opportunity for anyone with Capital One miles. Now you have this whole Avios ecosystem, and we're already thinking about Q Suites.
Of course. I mean, that's exactly where my mind went to. I mean, 70,000 for Q Suites? Come on.
Yeah. There we go.
Can't beat that. And then, so the next transfer partner is actually a hotel transfer partner, and it is for preferred hotels and resorts to their I Prefer program. It is at a 1-to-2 ratio. So every 1,000 Capital One miles you transfer, you will get 2,000 I Prefer points. Now, on the surface, that might seem like a slamming deal because for hotel points, we don't see that very often. But what you do need to remember is that city transfers to preferred hotels at a 1-to-4 ratio. So while 1-to-2 seems great, if you have access to city points, that's where you might want to look to do your transfers to preferred hotels. But with that said, any additional transfer partner is always good news because there are going to be people out there that only have Capital One miles. So this opens up a new transfer partner to them. Or maybe they have city points, but they really do need all of those for American Airlines because that's American's only big transfer partner. So there are situations when it's going to make sense to transfer from Capital One to preferred hotels and resorts. And if you're not familiar with that program, it is a group of more than 600 independent luxury boutique and hotels and resorts across the world. I think they're in like 80 countries. So some really nice properties there. If you're a fan of those, just interesting, unique places, there's going to be some really good opportunity there for you. So, if you have Capital One and City, maybe look to City. But if you don't, this is a great addition to the Capital One program.
Yeah. Okay. So those are the 3 transfer partners. But let's not forget that Capital One has been making improvements for years now, and they already have a long list of transfer partners. I'll run them down real quick just as a refresh. It includes Accor Live Limitless, Air Canada Aeroplan, Air France KLM Flying Blue, Avianca Life Miles, Choice Privileges, Emirates Skywards, Etihad Guest, JetBlue TrueBlue, Turkish Airlines Miles and Smiles, Virgin Red, Wyndham, and more. We're going to take a break now. When we come back, we're going to tell you why there's one reason Capital One might be your preferred program. Okay, welcome back. We are still talking about Capital One miles, and there is one reason why Capital One should be your preferred program, and that's because it's simple.
Yeah, Capital One is now the program that I recommend to people who are looking for something simple, who don't want to get into ultra premium cards, who maybe don't want to or don't have the time to learn about transfer partners, and also for those who just want really good value and don't necessarily have their hearts set on business class flights or high-end luxury hotels. So let's take a look at this. So Capital One cards earn 2 points per dollar everywhere. The Venture X, those cards.
Nice.
You can't beat that. That's fantastic. It's something that you just know you're going to earn 2 points per dollar. You don't have to think about it. It's great for that group of people who don't want to, take 10 different cards in their wallet like maybe I do. You can use your points to cover your travel expenses. And this isn't just book through Capital One Travel, which is fine. You can book any travel with your Capital One card, go back, and then essentially erase those charges using your points at 1 cent per point in value.
Yeah.
So you're not getting outsized value, but you're getting good value every time without having to think about it. And that's important for a lot of people. I have some family members who are kind of in that category of traveler. And for years, I've had them on the Chase Sapphire Reserve card, which we love. But since they've made their changes, it's, I think, attracting a different group of people now. And they weren't thrilled with those changes. They liked the simplicity of that. And they do use points for travel. So I actually recommended to switch them over to Capital One. And so far, so good with that program. But I do think there's a huge group of people that is just really going to enjoy this program. And look at their main credit card. Their high-end card, the Capital One Venture X, has remained unchanged mostly since it was introduced. Yes, they've made a couple of tweaks to things, which maybe are, we don't love. The lounge access guest benefits are changing soon, but it's mostly remained the same. It has a $395 annual fee, which maybe 5 years ago was a lot. Today is really moderate. I mean, that's something that a lot of people can handle. And those people don't have to jump through any hoops to make up that value, to make it feel like they're really getting something. You have the $395 annual fee. You have a $300 Capital One travel credit. It's good towards anything you book through Capital One Travel. And then you get 10,000 miles on your anniversary every single year. At a minimum, if you're just redeeming those for travel, that's worth $100. That covers your card right there. And you're still getting those kind of high-end benefits like that Priority Pass membership, the TSA PreCheck and Global Entry travel credit, those types of things. So that card combined with the Capital One program, I think, is a total winner for those groups of people who really want to keep things simple.
Yeah, well said. I mean, this card has long been a no-brainer, and now with these new transfer partners, the program is just that much more valuable. So
yeah,
I agree
absolutely.
with everything you just said.
No coupons to keep track of.
No
which
coupons.
The other banks have not gotten that memo.
There's a lot to be said about the simplicity. And so
absolutely.
we've gone over how the coupons, if you use them, they're worth it. But there's a lot of people that prefer not to have to use them.
Now, Capital One, if you're listening, I do not want you coming out next week with the changes to the Capital One Venture X.
To edit this episode.
And I'll have to eat my words because I'm really hoping changes aren't coming. But, we've gotten this far. So
yeah.
Fingers
All
crossed.
right. Well, let's dive into our final segment. We're going to answer some listener questions. We have an email from Jane, and she asks, are Capital One shopping and Capital One offers the same thing? I'm confused. Please help.
So
Katie,
these
help
are
her.
kind of confusing. Like, I really wish they had different names because they sound almost identical and they are absolutely not. So Capital One Shopping is a browser extension and app it's essentially a shopping portal. You click through that to whatever store and you earn cash back. However, the cash back you earn isn't really cash back because it can only be redeemed for gift cards through Capital One Shopping. You do not need a Capital One credit card to use Capital One Shopping. So I don't understand why they named it Capital One Shopping, just to confuse people and make it just complicated. But so Capital One shopping portal, the cash back you earn comes as a gift card. You can choose what store that your gift card goes to, but it's a kind of a small selection.
The list's not very big, like 20 or 30 stores.
Something like that. And it's it's changing. When I used them a couple years ago, and they had Lowe's, which was an easy one for me because I know I'm always going to need something for Lowe's for something around the house. So that was a good one. I looked the other day and there were not as many that I personally would be interested in using. So before you start looking at that, go in, see what credit cards they have, see if that makes sense for you. And I will say, the tracking can sometimes be wonky with Capital One shopping. I had a problem a couple years ago with like 3 different purchases that weren't tracked. Now, in the end, they did honor them and it was fine, but just kind of keep an eye on it if you decide to use that. Capital One Offers is what is available through your Capital One credit card account. And unlike Amex offers and Chase offers, this is a shopping portal, not card-linked offers. So, like, for example, with Amex offers, you can add the offer to your card and then take that card and go shop through American Airlines shopping or Rakuten or whatever and stack those. Capital One Offers is its own shopping portal. So you'll see them within your credit card account. You can click on them. The offers do tend to be good, and I find that after I shop at a store, the offer through Capital One Offers gets raised. So if you shop at the same stores often, you can sometimes find really nice deals through there. And then those will show up as cashback or extra points. And I hesitated a little bit because when Capital One offers were started, they were offered as cashback. And then I think maybe late last year, they added the ability to earn points instead of cash back. For my account, mine just automatically switched to points, and I don't see the ability to switch it back to cash back anywhere. So I don't know if that's a me thing or an everyone else thing. I'm not quite sure. My account just defaults to points, which is fine with me because that's what I want to earn anyways. But I could not find yesterday when I was looking for this answer whether the cash back option is still available or if it's just points. Either way, it's going to be obvious once you log into your account if you're earning points or cash back. And it works just like any other shopping portal. So those are the differences between the two. Completely different, very similar sounding names.
They're both very valuable. But I agree the naming could be improved a little bit, but they're both valuable tools.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Next question. I'm going to ask this one to you, Chris. This one is also from our email, and this is from Denny. He said, "Hi, I saw you posted about a transfer bonus from Amex to Marriott. I have a couple of Marriott stays tentatively planned for next year, but they're not booked yet. Is it a good idea to take advantage of this transfer bonus now?" And he says that I will probably book within the next 2 to 3 months. What do you think about that one, Chris?
Maybe. I'm just not sure that transferring Amex points to Marriott in general is really your best move. To start, we value Amex points around 2.2 cents each. Meanwhile, we value Marriott Bonvoy points at about 0.7 cents each. So even with the transfer partner, if you transferred 1,000 points, you would end up with 1,300 Marriott points. And those 1,000 Amex points are at $22. 1,300 Marriott points based on our valuation is $9.10. So that's a 60% loss on value. Now, everyone needs to use the points to make it work for your travel. If you've got millions of Amex points and you want to stay at a Marriott, go for it. But generally, to get the most value, I earn my Marriott Bonvoy points through a Marriott co-branded card, like the Brilliant card that we used earlier today, the São Paulo, the Westin. But it's really going to depend on your situation. I would go and compare the cash costs and then see how many points it will cost you and see if you're comfortable spending that many Amex points. If you are, I would take advantage of the transfer bonus. You could book now and you can always cancel and rebook if the price drops or your plans change. Just keep in mind that once you transfer from American Express to Marriott, you cannot send those back. So whatever you decide, those points are going to be Marriott Bonvoy points forever, whether you use them for this trip or for a future trip.
Well, thank you guys for those questions. We appreciate it. If you have questions or comments for us, you want to submit a question for us to answer on the air, you can email us at podcast@upgradedpoints.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you're watching or listening, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment. We would love that. We'd love to hear from you. And I think that's going to do it for us this week. We will see you next week.